Warning. This presentation contains stunt driving activities performed on a closed course. No one should attempt to recreate or reenact any of the stunts shown in this video on public streets, highways, or freeways. Street racing is illegal and could be fatal.
We got the drag the drifting ball.
Like a lifestyle now, you know. I mean, like every people, like it's like the way of life, especially like JDM. Now it's like what they do every day, you know. It's like their hobbies, it's their sports now, you know. That's what I think of it, you know. When you compare it to drag racing, I mean, drag racing is just like straight up, you know. I mean, but drifting you really have to have that skills, you know, just to slide the car, you know, and it's not gonna be like drifting is expensive, you know, just to play that sport, because you always have to replace the tires and stuff like that. So like you really have to be determined just to like drift your car, I guess, you know, because there's like it's not simple, you know. You have to have money, have to replace your tires every session of drift, you know?
takes some technique to basically go around the obstacles or the cones. So it actually does take some skill. It's not just like, you know, reckless driving.
You're building a motor for a customer and you and him are discussing how much horsepower it's going to make, and he's paying good money for this horsepower, he wants to make sure he's got it before it goes in the car. In their curves, in their turns, in their slopes, when they nail it, they want it there to put all the power they possibly can.
You know, most of the motorsports just going straight and then, you know, time, right? But, you know, drifting is just not only speed, like speed, also, you know, smoke, angle, and then like loudness or excitement. So it's a little bit, you know, a lot different from the regular motorsport.
It's almost like you're going too fast for the corner and you just break loose, like the rear end breaks away from you and kind of just control it the whole time. And then trying to link as many corners as you can together once. Whenever we have enough tires lined up to come burn. And, you know, it's a pretty expensive hobby, but it's a lot of fun. I've just been into imports pretty much my whole life, and you know, when drifting came over to the States a couple of years back, I just went to like Formula D before I could actually even drive, before I got my driver's license. And then saved up to buy this, and yeah, I've been hooked ever since.
Attention, attention, please let us have your attention. You are now about to enter another dimension. So open your mind, push reset, and reboot your computer.
Rock the block, baby.
Is how does it feel?
Relax and enjoy the ride. most popular car, especially in the US, is Nissan 240 SX. There's two models. One is we call S13, and the one is S14. And the S13 like the earlier model of it, and it's really easy to drive, and there's a lot of parts available. And that's a car dRIFT 101 by Drift Association offer for the rental. And A86 is a factory form. It makes about 90, maybe if you're lucky, making 90 horsepower to the wheel, maybe less. So less horsepower and less torque means harder to drive, but size is smaller, shorter wheelbase, and once you start learning how to drift in that thing, pretty much you can drift anything. And this engine is one of the smallest engine in the series, 1.6 liter 4AG engine. It's highly modified. The torque makes you drive a lot easier. And because there are a few techniques involved using clutch. Let's see, if your car hitting rev limiter, when you try to upshift and keep going drift, it doesn't work usually because at the top end of the like a power curve, there's no torque usually. And but torque is the one upset the whole the drivetrain to make the things go loose. That's why nowadays a lot of people go V8 because it's easy and cheap and fairly reliable.
We interrupt the presentation briefly just to bring you a drift theory lesson. I am Dr. Jo Ping, and I'll be your drift professor today. Before we begin, let's define drift. So drifting is a motor sport which the driver intentionally oversteers to initiate a slide or a loss of adhesion from the contact surface of the rear tires to the ground, which made the car drift. Unlike most of the motorsports, drifting, the winner is not necessarily the number one who finished the first, but there's a panel of judges who grade the race based upon how big the rear slip angles the vehicle made and how close the rear bumpers is to the track wall, and most importantly, how much smoke, noise, and overall crowd excitement are made. This sport started about 30 years ago in the mountains of Japan and recently has gained greater popularity in the US.
So it's totally not like a race. It doesn't matter who gets to the finish line first. In fact, there's no finish line. It's just a skilled sport where you prove to yourself and maybe to other people how much can you control your car while it's quote unquote not under control. Right. So you're drifting your car. You're taking it sideways. You're skidding your car. But still, your car's going where you want it to. You're turning on the apex where you want it to, with as much angle as you want it to, and speed, and as much speed as you want.
Barely started doing exhausts, half shaft spacers, drive shaft spacers, diff collars, and lug nuts. So we are doing our own EBS brand. What it is that it's taking us a while because we do test all our parts. We do have suspension, pretty much which we get from other suspension companies, but we do fine tune it to where we could get it off the shelf from them, and we will sell it as not our product, but we designed it with them. The design comes from here. We pretty much draw it, put it on like CAD, and then once it's made, we do test it ourselves, just to make sure it works properly, make sure it doesn't break like after 10,000 miles or under some kind of stress. What our parts is that we do want high quality. We don't want something cheaper just because it will sell. We want something that will last and work. We have Evos and S2000s, that's our main focus. So we do have the cars, we do test the products every day. It could be on employees' cars, or it could be on the track car. So we do test it for daily driving to make sure it holds up with so many miles. And on the track, we make sure it could handle resistance, heat, and all the other things while you're at the track. All right, this car is actually here for corner balancing alignment. That is pretty much one of the major services that we do consistently every day. Corner balancing, you pretty much set up the weight of the car to be 50-50. You don't want the car to be heavier on one side than the other, so that's where in turn it helps. And alignment, you always want alignment. New tires, or you haven't got alignment for a while, or you're going to the next track event, sometime soon, you will always want alignment and make sure the car steers properly.
Drift like an 86, slide like a Nissan. I got so much JDM they think I'm from Nippon.
Now let's discuss about some critical aspects for modifying a vehicle for drifting. Limited slip differential, LSD, is highly desired for a drift car. It enables a wheel to spin with different speed so the car can corner smoother by allowing a limited slippage of the rear wheels. And also there are several techniques you can use to initiate a drift. One of them is the right flick of the steering wheels. If the rear of the car does not swing out, then you can try a short flick of the handbrake. And that should give you your desired drift.
That's what draws the crowds. Because a lot of people, they just go to the events hoping that maybe somebody's going to crash or something. And also, what drives them is the noise, the skidding noise, the tire screeching, the loud engines, the smoke, the backfires and the exhaust. It's just an addictive, fun sport, and it's you probably see it from around. It's also a family sport. It's not just the drivers. Parents come along, friends come along. Some people bring their dogs or whatever. It's just a fun place to hang out and I guess unwind and get rid of all your weekday stress with all the work and stuff.
This is your most common car that you'll see in drifting. Like I said, the 86 is one of the most popular, but along with the 240, or it's called the 180SX in Japan, use your right-hand drive. This is Nissan's supposedly unintentional drifting, like ultimate drift engineered drift car. The e-brake happens to be in the right spot. The engines happen to put about just the right power. The alignment comes set from the factory, just happens to be great for drifting. The ones released in the US, they don't have this 2-liter turbo engine. But generally these cars are really easy to work on, and it's the most popular drift car you'll ever see. This is my friend Gary from Just for Kicks in Hawaii. This is his car that he shipped over from Hawaii to use as mainly it was a hobby car, but we're actually going to be turning it into a race car and maybe taking it to do some international drift demos.
It's kind of weird, it's like, I don't know, it just kind of helps you learn how, little stuff like how the car's going to react under power and stuff, just playing a video game. It's kind of weird. These Just Drift events are really nice because if you don't know how to drift, they'll put an instructor in the car with you and kind of they'll even hop in the driver's seat and show you like what they're doing. So they're really informative on how to learn how to drift.
Whenever we've done events down in TJ, people keep asking us, okay, when's your next event? When's your next event? They want more, and especially because down there, we've been able to give ride-alongs to just the regular folk, so that they can kind of understand what it is and get a feel from it from inside the cockpit, not just look at a car from the outside and think, oh, they're just doing random donuts and burning tires and whatever, but they can actually see that, oh, it does have some skill, because some people tend to see it as something that is just, you know, just going crazy, flooring it, and that's it, and oh, okay, so I could probably do this in my Bronco or my Explorer, right? No, it isn't.
That's pretty sick.
So a lot of people are now getting to know what it is, and so they're starting to follow the trend a little bit more.
The A86 is a tough car to drive, really tough. It's one of the hardest, but for some reason, and it's some deep belief from many guys that started in them, like myself, it teaches you how to drive. I believe that any good drifter should always have a Corolla in his back pocket, like ready to jump back in, and if you're coming up against the wall and you feel like you're not learning anything, go back to the Corolla and drive it for a while. And next thing you know, come back and the other car is going to be easier. Most of the guys, like I said, that started out some of the best that started in Corollas. No power steering. Mine actually had a wood steering wheel and it helped me build some pretty nasty calluses on my hands. It had no power steering. It was like 90 horsepower. So you end up working a lot harder in that car to make it drift than to a turbo car.
Now let's talk about the slip angle. In vehicle dynamics, a slip angle means the angles between the rolling wheel's actual moving direction and the direction where it is pointing to. As you can see here, if the front slip angle is less than the rear slip angle, the vehicle will be oversteering. So I guess that's it for now, and let's go back to our featured presentation.
One of the very basic things, I guess, to learn how to drift is practice in a safe environment, somewhere where it's okay for you to spin out and get off the track and stuff like that. Don't do it like on the streets where maybe you can hit another car, another person, or anything else, because you're not really worried about your driving, but you're also worried about getting caught and all that stuff. If you do it in a safe environment, in a closed environment, all you really need to worry about is leveling up your skill. That's it.
Professional drifting now, you're required to go out there. It's very different than a lot of motorsports in that in a race you have so many laps, and if you make a mistake in an early lap or a middle lap, you have an opportunity to make more laps and make up for that time and still have an opportunity to place well. In drifting, it's a whole nother level, which if a race car driver was to dabble in drifting and professional drifting, he can improve, because in professional drifting you only have like 2 laps to put it down. And so the level of concentration that you have to put out in those 2 laps and put it all together without making a mistake, with all these people watching and sponsors on your back and all these things, it's a really tough, extreme form of concentration that you have to put out, along with the car being built correctly and not breaking on you and being well put together.